Obviously very disappointed in the outcome of the game. I thought the kids came out very ready to play. Thought they demonstrated that the first drive down the field. I think the defense, what they did early in the football game was indicative of how they prepared and how they practiced and how they got ready to play the game. And I think obviously you have a punt return against you for a touchdown. Anything in a kicking game is momentum, and we had some momentum, and then we give up the touchdown on the punt return, which is very disappointing. You look at from a standpoint of taking care of the football, and we've talked a lot about that, probably more than I would like to or you would like to talk about it, but that's one thing we've got to do a better job of, and that's constantly coached, and we talk about it, and sometimes those things happen, and we got to make sure we're going back to work, working hard on it, and we can't have that happen through the Big Ten season. We talked as a team afterwards about what we need to do, and I remind them of the 1998 team, which was a team that went to Notre Dame. I was part of that team and then lost here at home versus Syracuse, and then went off and won the Big Ten, or part of the Big Ten championship. And those goals, our goals, are all out there. And I do believe we have a team that can do that. Now, you can't play the way you did today and do that. We realize that. But we got a bunch of guys in that locker room who every day work their tails off and are supportive and believe in each other.
I've got microphones for questions. Raise your hand.
Brady, after a game like this, when you had pulled your quarterback and the score was what it was, what do you see, why do you believe you can contend in the Big Ten this year?
And that's a great question, but, I think the one thing, Ojo, that I have that you don't is I'm with this group of young men every day. These kids, I know how they go to work. And there's things that we did very well today. We did some things not as well as we needed to. And we've got to improve on that. We got to go back to work. And it starts with me as the head football coach. Starts with the assistants, everyone who's in Schembechler Hall. We've got to do a better job for those kids.
I just do a quick follow-up. The incident on the sidelines with you and Greg Madison, right before, right after the penalty, was that a little loss of control there? What was that? Well,
I've known Greg since 1984, and I can guarantee you that wasn't the first time two competitive men have had I wouldn't even call it an argument.
Brady.
Did I finish that?
What would you call it?
Like it. Discussion. Well, you gotta see us play euchre. We really have discussions.
The turnovers in the second half obviously were the problem. In the first half, you had just the one turnover at the end, and still it seemed like finishing drives was the problem. Something talk about the need to be able to finish.
Yeah, and there's no question that that's one thing. We start a drive, we have some success with it, we get a sack, and so you're behind the sticks again, and you don't like to play offense that way. We had a penalty that put us back, and so we just got to finish those drives. The first drive of the game, really, the execution and what was going on was good, but we settled for 3 points. Great kick by Matt. Good to see it from him, obviously, but we want 7 points, not 3 points.
Okay. Talk a little bit about what it was like waiting out that rain delay.
It was weird. Probably one of the most weirdest things that happened to me during my whole entire football career. So, just weird getting back out there and having no one there.
Talk a little bit just about kind of the flow of the game. I mean, you guys certainly have struggled offensively, and that's been something that's probably hard on the defense, if I'm not mistaken.
You
How
know,
does that affect you guys?
we can't, we can't take it like that. And, we have our offense back whenever, we can't take it. And, it's just about execution. We didn't execute as well as we needed to. We didn't create turnovers as a defense. And, that's what we need to do. And, you just got to get back to that and make those corrections.
Brady was saying that you guys still have all your goals in front of you. What does that mean to you?
What-
How do those goals change, I guess, with losses in 2 of the first 4
Yeah,
games?
I mean, the Big Ten championship's still out there. That's our main goal. And, coming around the corner is Big Ten season, so we can't wait.
What happened? Did you hit the quarterback when he flew up?
I did. He tried to jump over me. I don't know why.
Did you see what happened to him or no?
Yeah, actually, I saw his face, and it was bad. His nose bleeding and everything, and he came back out.
Jake, what do you think the defense did particularly well?
I think, we filled gaps well today. I got to give credit to Matt Godin, Ryan Glasgow, Brian Monet, and Willie Henry. They did a spectacular job filling, taking guys up and, creating holes. And, that's huge for us and huge for the linebacking corps because, we just got to go downhill and hit the ball. And, they did great. And, I got to give them all the credit in the world.
And Willie got sick.
Willie did get sick. He did.
Jake, what's the mental state of this team right now?
We just gotta keep our heads up. It's tough, but like I said before, our goal is still out there. That Big Ten championship is still out there, and we just gotta make corrections and figure things out.
Was the mood okay? I mean, were guys hanging their heads or?
If there was guys hanging their heads, we would tell them to keep it up. We can't have that. We can't have that negative, energy brought into the locker room. So.
Is it hard for you guys to maintain that positivity when outside it may be a little more discouraged?
It's tough, but you gotta have a right mental state.
Jake, you guys have played, reasonably well in the first half. Second half starts out, they come right down the field. What went wrong on that drive with you guys?
It's just the execution. We didn't execute well, and little things that we need to get corrected, and we'll do that tomorrow. Just through the film.
What made their quarterback so effective?
What made their quarterback so effective? He was a good passer and he was a good runner. He did well on both sides.
Does it get frustrating when you guys are making stops and the offense isn't able to put points on the board?
No, you can't look at it like that at all. We have all the faith in our offense. It comes down to execution. We didn't execute. And as a defense, we need to create more turnovers for our offense.
How do you flip around that execution? What do you have to do to change it? It seems like that's been the answer for the past couple weeks.
It's the same thing every single time. It's get in that film room, study your opponent, know what they're doing before the play, know what's going to happen. It's the little things.
You probably answered this, but after you dominated them really on defense in the first half, that second half drive that they came up with, what happened there?
Like I said before, it was just execution. We didn't execute and filling gaps and the small things.
Jake, you mentioned small things, little things now twice. Why is this team still struggling with the small things, little things?
Because each team is different each week, and every single time it's a different opponent, and they do different things. They scheme differently, and like I said, it's just getting into the film and getting into the film more. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. It's the same little things then every game, or do you think it's changing?
No, I think it's definitely changing. Like I said, the first game I was jumping out of my gap every other play, and now it's fixed. So.
How confident are you guys that you can fix those things and figure out how to execute in those little
Confident.
things?
You know what? We've been doing this. I've been doing this for 5 years, and we have the best coaches there are, and I got to give all the credit in the world to them because Coach Madison has us in that film room, giving us tendencies, giving us what we need to do, and we're confident. Couple more for Jake.
Were you able to study film during that delay? I mean, did you guys look at film or did you meet with position coaches?
We met and talked about stuff, and
you able to diagnose stuff?
It was kind of like a glorified halftime, basically, and what we can do better, and what we can change.
Is there a sense of urgency right now? Do you feel it?
Sense of urgency. I think there's a sense of urgency going into this Big Ten, season. I think the team's really excited about it.
All right, thank you, Jake.
Yep.